National Community Church is a pillar in its city, Washington, D.C. Its footprint can be seen all over, not just because it saves souls, but also making people's dreams come true. Executive Director of the D.C. Dream Center, Ernest Clover, joins us. Thank you so much for having us in your building.
B1, thank you so much for coming.
Now, once one comes into your building, you're met with this wall. What's the dream wall all about?
Yes, so again, this is our way of engaging people in the community. So we ask people to either read a dream, to write a dream, or to pray for a dream. But what they need to realize is that even before they get here, we've already prayed into this space, that it be a space where hope becomes habit. So when you read a dream and you come in here, we realize that you're engaging a space with another individual. And we're praying that something might start stirring you. When you write a dream, we realize that there is a revival happening in your head and in your heart right then and there, where you're having hope again. Now, when you pray for a dream, what we realize is that now you're stepping into the intergenerational space of what transforming and putting hope into people's hearts and minds in our community.
I'd love to hear whether it's just Christians who are right up there, and then when they write, what actually happens. Are there any testimonies to share with us? So please, let's take a seat, and then we can talk some more. Ernest, thank you again for having us in your building. You've shown us the dream wall, but I'm intrigued. Who can write on the wall? Is it just Christians, or can non-Christians write? And when they do, what happens?
So we're here engaging the community. So anyone and everyone, whoever so will, may come. So if you're alive and breathing, just come in the door and engage in the space here. So one of the things that we really believe is that the gospel should be in the middle of the marketplace. So a lot of the things that we have here, whether that is our dance school or wrestling or Girl Scouts or fitness classes, after school mentoring, our summer camps, counseling, everything, these are practical needs that already exist, that for us who serve here realize that we're meeting it, and it might be from a secular point of view to some on the outside. But for us here, we realize that the people who are here serving are followers of Jesus. So that's one of the most important things, is that people would rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. And we want people to have.
And I'd love to hear some of the stories or testimonies, as we call them, that's come out of the center. But let's go back a little, about 23 years ago, when the church started. Tell us about how the church started, because the now looks so wonderful and glitzy.
Oh, yes.
The beginnings was a lot smaller from what I gather.
Yes, it was. So I know, and this is the amazing thing. So just for myself, going back 23 years, I was a kid in Detroit, Michigan, on the west side of Detroit. So I realized that God is sovereign, is the first thing I want to say. So when Pastor Mark was here in Washington, D.C., him and his wife came here to plant a church. And the amazing thing is the power of relationship, the power of this family, which is the Big C Church, was just so palpable then in the very small beginnings of National Community Church. And one of the things that happened because of those very small, humble beginnings is that there's some great people that want to come around you. So Pastor Mark and Pastor Laura were blessed to have some amazing friends. And some of those friends were also some of the same people that started the Southeast White House. And so we have these two arms of the Lord moving forward, these two camps moving forward. And it wasn't until about 2010 that National Community Church was in a position, and prayerfully so, looking for a space for a dream center. And then some of the people who were a part of this Southeast White House and lovingly in the community here, the Little White House, were looking for a transition.
Now, the Little White House, or the Southeast White House, is what?
Yes, so that is a house on the hill for all people. If you're alive and breathing, you come in the front door. And the purpose of that ministry is to be a presence for Jesus in the community. And so it's literally right behind the DC Dream Center. And that's where we earn the right to be heard in this community. So while this dream...
When you say you earn the right to be heard, what does that mean?
So we show up, we keep showing up, and we stand by our word. So when people hear us say something like, yes, we will start this program, or yes, we're here to meet this need, and you show up again and again, and even if you can't meet the need, if you just show up and say, meanwhile, I'm sorry, I don't think I can help you, but with that need, but is there anything else I could do? People know that you saw him as a person, you saw him as a human being, and you had the opportunity in that moment to model Jesus to them, to just be like, hey, we're human, we're connected, we're brother and sister here, and I'm gonna treat you with honor and respect. Even if I can't meet your immediate need in this moment, I still love you and I wanna make sure you're affirmed in that.
Now, what are some of the challenges or some of the case studies that you've seen in this area that makes you that have really challenged you as a pastor, as a caregiver, as a Christian, as a leader? What are some of the things that you've seen that have really challenged you, but you've seen God work through?
Yes. So I would say, one of the things that I have to remember in speaking to myself is that there's nothing new under the sun. Right? Because so often I want to appropriate a storyline that is unique to me. Like, this is the first time, this is unique. And it's like, no, people are people, Ernest. And you need to realize that the supremacy doesn't come, and authority doesn't come from you and your position. It comes from God, comes from his word, comes from the Holy Spirit. Like, you need to recognize that. So I think that's one of the things that I have personally wrestled with, is that shift internally in my heart and my head, but how it's played out is I think the heart of your question is like, well, what does that look like? And I would say it really looks like, and I really thought about it, it was like, hey, Acts 2:42. I realized that the church grew because people were in fellowship together, people broke bread together, they prayed together, and they got into the word together. And I was like, that's an amazing concept that as I sit back here, and there's plenty of times in this Dream Center that I'll talk to a volunteer or I'll talk to someone on staff, and I'm like, I don't know how anything gets done around here. God is amazing. Because the things that happen, the connections that are made, no one human being can make those connections.
I tell you what, I'd love to hear more about the work that's going on in the Dream Center and the people that come in and out of here. And of course, most people hear the Dream Center and they think Tommy Barnett in Los Angeles. I'd like to know whether there's any relationship there as well. Stay with us. We have more for you after the break.